Let's talk on this issue with Grainne Hallahan, former teacher and journalist at TalkTV. Grainne, good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon.
We hear about these stories once in a while, and sometimes they really do end in awful tragedy. But I hadn't realised it was quite as big as this. This is almost organised crime territory, it seems.
Yes, and that seems to be, when you look at the stories coming through and the background to this happening, it is organised. It is, this is targeted attacks on young people because they know that they're vulnerable. We've had warning signs about this that we know from the NSPCC. They warned us over the duration of lockdown when children were at home on their mobile phones a great deal more than what they were before. They were becoming more vulnerable to these types of attacks, and schools have seen the knock-on effect of this by that at TeacherTapp, we ask our teachers about how concerned they are about their children being online on social media, and the number of teachers that are telling us that they're far more concerned has risen year on year on year. And so we can see in the classroom that the effect this is having upon the students and then on the teachers because they're so worried about their pupils.
Yeah. So if I've got this right, broadly what seems to happen is that somebody starts chatting with somebody online, the kid, the teenager, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever, thinks they're, hooking up with somebody. It gets a little bit sexual, as it does with young teenagers. Somebody asks for the photograph, and the boy or the girl send over some naked photographs, some, doing whatever. And then they realise that actually the person they sent it to was not a potential date partner or sex mate. They were, in fact, someone looking for money, and they say, if you don't send us 2,000 quid or 1,000 quid, we're going to publish those photographs to everybody in your phone, etc.
Yes, that's right. And of course, with the use of AI, creating these images it doesn't always necessarily mean these are genuine images. They can frighten children by using AI to generate images and saying that they're going to release those. And the child is then panicked and doesn't know what to do. And part of the problem from speaking to school leaders is that we've done such a good job of saying to children, don't share pictures of yourself online. If you do, what you've done is illegal. If you take a photograph of yourself and you're under 18, you have, generated an illegal image. And what we're now hearing from experts is actually this is not helping the problem. We need to make sure that young people know that if they do make a mistake, if they do find themselves in that position, the very worst thing they can do is stay silent, and they must speak up and must not be in fear of incriminating themselves because, of course, they are the victims in all of this. Yeah. Anybody can make a mistake, and it's really important that schools and parents emphasise to young people, please don't do this, but if you are caught in this situation, you must tell somebody about it.
Absolutely. I was chatting to my mate's daughter was telling us a little while back that, she's about 18 now, but she said when she was at school, this was not particularly controversial that kids sent pictures to each other. In some groups, it was, seen as, oh, did you send a picture? Yeah, of course I did, It might not have been something full-blown pornographic. It might have been. But it certainly wasn't that odd to send something that was a little sensual.
You might remember when we had the Everyone's Invited scandal, a few years ago. Ofsted went into schools and they surveyed all the children. They spoke to the children about how common this is, and it is frighteningly common. Yep. It'd be a mistake to think this is not happening in your family, in your community. This could happen to anybody. And so it's really important that although we do feel awkward about these things, we even ask our teachers how confident they feel teaching sex education. There's still 1 in 5 teachers say they don't feel confident doing it. It's really tricky to have these sorts of conversations, and it's important to get training, get advice, and to have these open and honest conversations with young people so that they know what to do if one of their friends tells them, look, this has happened to me, that they know the right thing to do is to tell an adult, is to report it to the police, and not to just keep it to themselves.
Yeah. Did the government make any comment on this beyond obviously the fact that this is all highly illegal? Photographs like that, publishing them in whatever form, blackmail is illegal, but kids don't always see it through that lens. Is there any official kind of campaign from the Department of Education to try and mobilise more awareness?
Well, you might be aware that the new online safety bill finally was passed at the end of last year, but as is the nature of these things, it's never going to be overnight, and it takes time for things to be put into place. However, a lot of criticism came because of the law. There wasn't enough pressure put on the companies to better protect young people.
Yeah.
And I think stories like today really hammer home that point. There's not enough being done at an operational level to make sure these tragic cases don't happen.
Got it. Listen, Grainne, thank you. Thorough stuff. Grainne Hallahan, former teacher and journalist over there at TeacherTapp.